don't know you're saying. Do you? Oh. Liars! I shot Davenport yesterday. He assassinated me. I'll get him too.
I had to go on with it. I can't stop. Hoskins will help me. He's a coward, but he'll help.
Back, this area's sealed.
Is it a bomb?
On your way, Squire. Sorry about the delay, sir.
Mr. Strange, I thought you were... Oh, of course, it's today, isn't it?
What in blazes is going on?
My pigeon.
Lister. Open this damn thing! Mr. Prager!
Why wasn't I called? It was felt as it was your last day.
What the hell happened?
He jumped, sir.
Is there any doubt about that?
None.
James! James! After today, you'll be able to do it your way.
Good morning, sir. Guy.
What's good about it? Why do you think he did it?
Lister.
Anybody else jump out of the 5th floor this morning?
He's been showing signs of stress lately.
He always was a peculiar little twat.
He was the best systems man we had. His work here was exemplary.
Do the report, James. You might as well handle the inquest at the same time. No mention of this department. No mention that Lister worked with computers. Bury it and bury him.
Will you want a copy?
Why not? Give me something to read in my old age.
I'm going to turn this place back into a coal hole.
A369, log and record. It's confirmed that you can have priority access to the mainframe at Southampton now.
Fine.
Distressing business. Would you sign for it, please?
Did you know him well?
Not very. First-class mind, fifth-rate personality.
That trace request from Birmingham CID. Car found, presumed stolen.
A369, clearance D2. 1010111102.
Walk into the door, did you? Bloody kid on a motorbike, straight through the windscreen.
Dick's dead.
Morning, John. 3 copies, both lists.
Why did the silly bugger do it?
Did you know him?
Never met. Sign the destruction book. Data subject must have had a talkative wife.
Why?
Look at the size of his phone bills.
Those are sad, and a happy occasion. Sad for us.
God, you started.
Frank.
How embarrassing.
To shed the burden of responsibility that he's borne so nobly. Frank Strange has devoted the last 15 years of his life to this department. He's built it from an obscure arm of the service to an essential, I might say, the essential repository of information in this country. Now, as Controller, Sir Gerald Dangerfield deeply regrets he could not be here today, but as his deputy, it falls to me to express, inadequately I feel sure, the great debt we owe to this man. There is no freedom without security. There is no security without the ability to recognize our enemies and hold them in check. Our watchword must be vigilance. Our aim, freedom from the bomber, the terrorist, and safety for our citizens.
I'll miss you, Frank.
You'd have to continue your career under the new regime. Forget about me.
I'm not terribly keen on a career.
Not much for a life.
I was in the lift when we had the last one.
Sorry, sir.
Not to worry, William. Where was Moses when the light went out? Well, James?
No idea.
In the dark, man. In the dark. Well, I shall be glad to get to Cornwall.
When are you going?
Oh, this afternoon. But I've closed up the flat. If you fancy a weekend in the country, give me a ring.
I'd like that.
Clear up the list of business. Put his miserable life on file and close it.
I'll send you a copy.
Do that.
Quitman, you're handling the list of business, I understand.
Yes.
Last command of the old order, eh? Trust you won't find it too difficult adjusting to the new regime. There will be fresh opportunities now for those who are not afraid of grasping the nettle.
You do it firmly, I believe.
The list report must be handled with the greatest of tact. This department does not exist. Should not care to read in my morning paper that it does. Sir Gerald.
Next. Lister's transfer from Southampton to this department. There's no explanation on record.
He requested a transfer. Between us, his wife was having it off with one of his colleagues and he couldn't cope with it.
Poor sod.
Anything else?
No. I think I just saw Sir Gerald Dangerfield with Mr. Hathaway.
He does have clearance to visit. He is the boss, after all.
Why didn't he come to Frank's party?
Ah, the ways of the great.
The injuries are consistent with the fall from a considerable height.
Then you would agree with death by misadventure?
That is for you to say, Mr. Coroner.
Inspector?
The evidence clearly indicates suicide.
I would like my objection to this whole procedure minuted and placed on record.
Excuse me, sir. I assure you the procedure, or lack of it, is necessary. Perhaps this young man can set your mind at rest.
I've worked closely with the deceased for some time. His personal life has been distressing him. for some time. He was increasingly unable to cope with a very heavy workload. I wasn't surprised when he took this way out.
Nor it would seem particularly distressed. You'll have my report in due course.
By tonight, please, sir.
Need his objection go on record?
That's for you to say.
My department would prefer not.
You will sign to that effect.
Well, yes, if that's the necessary procedure.
Excuse me, I'm visiting my daughter, and I appear to have got lost.
No, it's easily done in this place.
Mrs. Lister.
Just one moment.
Thank you. She's private. At least, she's in a room by herself, I think.
Mrs. Lister. Dick never came back from London during the week. He saw Tony and went mad. He kept hitting Tony. I'm worried sick about the children.
They'll be well looked after.
That's what the welfare woman said. Dick was shouting at Tony. Things about work. I didn't understand. He used to be such a gentleman.
Your lover works for the directorate here at Southampton? What happened isn't your fault, Mrs. Lister.
In a way, I know that. He changed so completely. He'd be totally depressed. Then he'd get another idea and swing the other way. Like when he sent copies of his evidence to the press officer. He expected Hoskins to leak it to the press. He kept saying, Hoskins will prove me right. Then when nothing happened, he'd get angry and the depression would come again.
What did he want Hoskins to publish?
I never understood any of it. The inquiry found against Dick. That's what changed him.
What inquiry?
It frightened me.
There was an inquiry here at Southampton.
But it doesn't matter now. We all failed him. It was awful. He kept hitting Tony and calling him a liar. He said they'd all lied and Davenport was the biggest liar of all.
Johnny.
He went to see someone called Davenport. That was another one of his ideas. He said they were all scum, but they wouldn't be able to stop him. That's the awful thing. He didn't really seem to care that I was having an affair. You don't care either. You're only here because he died the way he did. He hated you. He used to call you the blind man.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
We are not available at the moment. Please leave a message after the tone.
The fox has broken cover, and the hounds have the scent.
But everything's in the oven.
I'm really sorry. It's been a hell of a day.
And I have to work on.
Will I see you tonight?
I'll go back to my place tonight. I'll see you tomorrow.
Promise.
I'm disappointed, lover. See you tomorrow.
Mr. Seltzer, I have nothing to say. Mr. Seltzer, are you prepared to reveal the source of the information which appeared in the original article? I then spoke to David Fenton. Mr. Fenton, you must be pleased and delighted with the result. I have nothing to say to you people, but you've been completely vindicated. Have I? Mr. Fenton's attitude is perhaps understandable. During the...
Morning. Mr. Davenport, please. Davenport.
Had you been awake in our last session at arms, you would have known that the discontroller interrupt is a priority interrupt in this situation. And further, that it is an unmaskable interrupt. Does all share the merriment?
Oh, the head's been splashing out, sir.
What are you Neanderthals up to?
Well, the head spent £52 at Sylvester's restaurant on the 12th of last month.
How on earth did you do that?
Oh, it was easy, sir.
Well, I couldn't afford Sylvester's on my salary. Now, you should not be using this equipment for what is essentially an illegal act. Wipe that.
It is clever, though, sir.
Damn clever, Barker. Now, off you go.
Mr. Davenport, there's a gentleman to see you, sir.
Frank. What a terrific surprise.
Hello, Johnny.
You'll stay overnight?
I can't, Johnny.
You never did know how to relax. I could do with the company.
Do you ever miss the work?
No. I miss my dear Ivy every waking moment. No, I was glad. Relieved to get away from it. You've created a bit of a monster, Frank, if the truth be known. I designed programs whereby if a man farted in Penzance, we recorded it in Southampton. What exactly is the use of these endless megabytes of information?
I was given a job to do.
Well, I shouldn't be attacking your baby when you were kind enough to visit.
It's not my baby anymore. I retired yesterday.
But good heavens, you had years to go.
Oh, it was time I made way.
Did Sir Gerald present you with a fob watch?
Happily did, more or less. There was rather an upsetting incident yesterday. One of the staff threw himself off the 5th floor. Systems man, a fellow called Lister. Ever come across him?
Lister. Promising boy, that Webb. Lister, can't say I came across him. Must have been after my time.
But he was at Southampton. He was involved in some kind of inquiry and was transferred to London.
That's the way. Here we are.
Being Systems, I thought you might know him.
Well, the name is vaguely familiar. There were dozens of them, of course.
Well, he was quite brilliant. A bit odd, you know. All you chaps are.
You're the most paper-driven man in this building. It's past 7 o'clock.
Just finishing.
Good. Perhaps we share a drink.
That would be nice. In your office?
No draft lager. The pub, 10 minutes. Okay?
Okay.
Last meal gone?
No, sir. Good night, Mr. Quitman.
Good night.
You are interested in chivalry. I know this is your hobby. The knights protected their ladies, sometimes by the cruel application of a device called a chastity belt. A necessary restriction. The EEC must protect itself from rape, if you like. must cooperate towards that end. 2 more pints, please.
Our cut.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Let's have one over here.
Oh, terrific.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Our work is, believe me, an honorable career.
I've never been enamored of a career.
Strange never grasped the potential of the new technology. Prager does. He will allow me to do the work I was brought here to do. To bring the department in line with the rest of Europe. Take it into the 21st century. You are a young man. Do not cling to the past.
The king is dead. Long live the king. Thanks, Harry. I forgot there was a match. Bottle of gin. How is it?
Not so bad now.
They got an idea who did it?
The police haven't even been to see me.
Hi, lover. We got it.
Have some fizz, old boy. And if you've got any spare fivers, invest in us now. Cable Midwest is in business.
How you think you're going to make money out of that area is beyond me.
It's perfect territory. 35% unemployment, 60% high-rise blocks, high-density audience, with nothing to do but watch cable. All day, every day.
Lister. Hoskins. Edison. Cooper. Hoskins.
The Dutchman was talking about promotion. Happily was talking about promotion.
Hatherley gave me a warning.
You're hopelessly unambitious.
Well, you have enough for both of us. You're a hermetically sealed canister of ambition.
There's nothing wrong with ambition.
Is Jeremy going to have a porn channel as well? When will you be back?
I'll try and get back at the weekend.
Do you want me to call you a mini-con?
I did that last night. We'll be here at 9:30. Just piss off and leave me to get on with it.
The index is now standing at its lowest for 6 months.
Good morning. Morning, Puff. It's always better than I remember it, Puff.
Perhaps I'd better join you then.
Perhaps you had. Visitors all gone?
Yes, you picked the right time to come down. Not that I've got anything against visitors, it's them as keeps us going.
Had a good season?
Oh, not bad. Not bad, but not as good as some years. People don't have the money.
He was a mess, but no danger to the department. Odd how you can work with a person for so long and know so little about them.
Yes. Tell me, James, you promised our ex-director a copy. You haven't kept that promise.
I have, as a matter of fact. I thought
That was a mistake, James. Strange no longer has any clearance for access. He is no longer a part of this department.
Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't object at the time.
I'll take the file copy. Otherwise, you might give it to the canteen lady on your way up to the registry. That'll be all.
Morning.
Over here, James.
I'm afraid I want an explanation before I answer any more questions about Frank Strange.
We fear his present activities may not be for the good of the department.
The man created the Directorate. He lived for it.
Has his behavior, in your opinion, been significantly different in the months before he left?
He seemed less in control. It did occur to me that he was aware of this, and that was the cause of his retirement.
He didn't retire. He was fired.
Why?
We are concerned about his continuing activities.
Exactly, Minister. We need to know what he's up to. It's entirely likely, James, that he will contact you and play on your undoubted affection and loyalty. Now, should he do so, you will inform Mr. Prager immediately.
Who decided he had to go?
Sir Gerald Dangerfield. I was as shocked as you are now.
Among the things he cleared from his office, there was a classified file. I wondered about it at the time.
You more than anybody understand how he thinks. I'll have Mitchell report direct to you and give you Meyer for systems analysis. For God's sake, find out what he's up to.
What's the point? In a world full of mendacity, what is the point of honor? Tube, and tell them the kind of work we do.
No.
I have.
Fox has discovered the hounds and is running. Do you require him to have a free run?
The fox cub has been told. He is very bitter about the fox and ripe for exploitation.
The fox must be allowed to run free. The cub must run with the hounds.
Bloody lunatic.
How do you think you're coming? I think must have slipped.
The sheep story should be front page, big picture, big caption.
Hoskins.
I don't work for your department anymore. So you stuff your Official Secrets Act and investigative blackmail up your arse.
Possession of classified information is a criminal offence.
Lister gave me nothing. He just accused anybody and everybody of abusing the database at Southampton. He was a nut.
He claimed you could prove his case.
He didn't have a case.
He gave you evidence to back his claim. I want that evidence.
Get it from Lister.
Lister is dead. He jumped from the 5th floor 3 days ago.
That does surprise me. He did show me some computer sheets. Or rather, some notes he'd made, pages of them. They could have been his laundry list for all I knew.
What did you do with them?
I destroyed them.
What was he asking you to do?
He said the inquiry was a cover-up. He wanted me to know that as press officer. Your whole stinking department is a cover-up. He said Ellison and Cooper were only the small fry. He said a senior officer was involved.
Did he name this officer?
Yell. It was paranoia.
What happened after that?
I got the hell out of there. I believe Cooper has an electronics company in Basingstoke somewhere. You promoted Lister to London. Usual solution.
Could Lister have been a spy? In your opinion?
You went to the wrong school for that game.
We've lost him near Yeovil.
Not clever. Let's see what we have on you.
Maybe his mother lives there.
Ticket to Salisbury, please.
Fresh data subject. Student at Warwick University. His address book.
Anything known?
No record.
File under surname Fraser, cross-reference to Students' Union, Warwick University, and all affiliations.
60-year-old man with a limp, and they lose him in a small Somerset town. You lean on Mitchell, James. I want hourly reports on every move they make. And so you will be in no doubt as to the gravity of the matter. I've had you cleared for sight of this.
But this is from Lister.
Precisely. Senior officer accused of misusing the database. Material extracted, not recorded. Purpose of data extraction unknown, not recorded. That senior officer was strange.
Did he know about this?
We have to assume he did. It would explain his behavior to Lister over the last few months.
In plain language, he drove Lister to suicide. He pressured the man till he broke.
Why don't you have him arrested?
We need to know his intention. You were closest to him. Find him, James. And when you know what he's up to, we'll take him.
Go to it, James.
Any idea what we're looking for?
No.
These were printouts.
Can I help you?
I was calling on Mr. Strange.
Oh, Frank's gone to London for a few days. Frank's my boss in Whitehall. He's loaned me the cottage for a few days. Can I help?
No, I expect he'll call in when he gets back.
You're the landlord of the cutter?
That's right. Come on, Flight.
Born to it, you were.
Get rid of him. Get him off the premises.
Mr. Cooper is abroad. His secretary suggests you write for an appointment.
Perhaps I'll just wait.
I wouldn't do that, sir.
Tell Mr. Cooper he'll have to see me in the end.
George. Sir. Could I have a word with Mr. Springer?
I'm sorry, sir, but this table is booked.
Perhaps you have another.
I'm sorry, we're extremely busy.
Sit down. You'll have to answer my questions sooner or later.
I left the directorate 3 years ago, and you are no longer with it.
Sit down, Cooper! You left the directorate 3 years ago. You were on a grade 3 salary. How do you finance a company like yours out of that?
I have partners. They have the money, I have the knowledge.
Lister implicated you in that business at Southampton, then you left. Now you have a prosperous company.
The inquiry cleared me, but I'd had it. It was a very dirty business.
Who was Lister working for?
What?
Oh, come on, Cooper. It must have crossed your mind.
The inquiry...
Never mind the inquiry. What did you think?
All right, I ran. I was offered an opportunity, and I took it.
If you thought there was the smallest possibility that Lister was being directed from outside, you should have put the country's security first.
Bugger the country.
Lister is dead.
I know.
How do you know?
I design computer systems, Mr. Strange.
You work for the directorate.
My company does. Lister never gave up. Even after the inquiry, when he was shifted to London, he never gave up. Now let me out of here.
You booked a ticket to London. You don't believe he jumped, do you?
Leave me alone. Don't you come near me again, do you hear? You'll end up like Lister.
No, Frank.
You left your paper.
Go away, Frank.
You owe me a hearing.
I owe you nothing.
I'm not being followed.
I know.
I see. You're tracking me.
Yes.
Clever old Hatherley. Loyalty comes cheap these days.
Well, you should know.
5 minutes, James. Come on, it's bloody wet out here. Thank you. What do you know of an inquiry at Southampton October 3 years ago?
Nothing. I didn't even know there was one.
Neither did I.
You said Lister was murdered. Why?
What have they told you?
Oh, you do the talking, Frank, not me.
They really have got their hooks into you. What am I this week? A traitor? A threat to the Directorate? A mad old man bent on revenge?
5 minutes, that's all. I mean it.
All right. Lister pulled the same stunt at Southampton as he did later in London. He accused people there of misusing the database. I believe he was making a screen to cover his own activities. Oh, for God's sake, Quitman, this is Frank Strange you're talking to. Lister was murdered because his cover was getting thin. Prager and Hatherley didn't look hard enough at Southampton. They moved him to London to contain him, but they didn't succeed.
You were fired, Frank. By Dangerfield himself. Lister accused you.
Lister accused a senior officer. I was compromised by that accusation. I had to go. Whoever was running Lister wanted me out of the way.
No, that's a little Machiavellian for me.
Don't pull the college boy smarty with me.
Get out, Frank.
When you leave, I'm calling Prager.
I misjudged Lister. And I misjudged you. I wondered when you didn't send me a copy of your report on Lister.
I did send it.
It didn't reach me. You did the official report on Lister. Yet they never told you about the Southampton inquiry. Believe me, James, I am not your enemy.
What did you mean, whoever was running Lister?
Well, if he was working for the Russians.
Well, that's a large assumption.
It's a correct one, I believe.
What have you come here for?
There must be a file on that Southampton inquiry. And it must contain Lister's evidence. I need that. Trust me, James.
I want to know where you are. At all times.
Well, I have no driving license.
What?
I mislaid it over a year ago. Never applied for a new one. I can't hire a car. Give them that tidbit.
What is the bloody man up to?
Lister created trouble at Southampton.
You have been digging.
That's where the answer is. I've put the surveillance back on his car.
He's hardly likely to go back for it.
He has to. He once told me he'd lost his driving license and would have to get a new one when he retired. He can't hire a car.
But it's worth a shot. Anything's worth a shot. Lister made certain allegations at Southampton. An inquiry found them to be false.
Did Strange know about this?
No. I ran the inquiry. He was beginning to be doubtful even then. I'll have the file cleared for you. Oh, I've arranged for you to be moved out of that coal hole you call an office.
That's kind of you.
I want Strange very badly. You get him for me, James, and I'll see you get more than a new desk.
And you have sight of it for 60 minutes. Sign here.
Is it about Lister? You were the expert witness in the Southampton inquiry. You proved him wrong.
I was promised my involvement would never be disclosed. He came to see me a week before he died, and there was nothing I could do for him. What are these?
Lister's submission to the inquiry.
How did you get these?
Why did Lister submit these as proof of irregularity if you could so easily disprove them?
You never lie or dissemble, do you, Frank? I never saw these. Hatherley asked me to confirm his findings, which I did.
You put your name to a conclusion without seeing the evidence?
I was assured it was in the interest of national security. Hatherley is in command, for God's sake.
Frankly, Sir Gerald, the Ministry is worried. Isn't the department taking a risk?
Risks are only risks insofar as they are not calculated.
He's one of your own, with all the inside knowledge that implies.
That's why it's important to let him run. But the decision is not mine. It's Mr. Hatherley's.
I agree with you, Sir Gerald, but I also incline to the Ministry view.
As I say, you have direct responsibility there.
Mr. Hatherley has already indicated he would like him pulled in.
We still don't know exactly what he's up to.
Mr. Hatherley?
I respect Sir Gerald's instinct. We'll let him run.
These don't make complete sense, but I don't like the amount of sense they do make. If this is Ellison's UIC, he shouldn't have access to that data.
But that's precisely what Lister accused them of.
But I can't be totally sure, because these pages are incomplete. At least 4 are missing. These things are not done sequentially. You need the complete set. David Fenton's name is here.
Who?
The black MP who had to resign the House. That scummy little radical Seltzer did for him.
Seltzer.
What's the problem?
The problem is choice.
Well, there's no choice between me and your Liz. I'm not in that market.
You have no doubts at all about what we do?
None at all.
Mr. Seltzer, Lister couldn't come.
The police, the High Courts, couldn't get me to reveal my sources.
You won't either.
Is that professional ethics or fear?
I know a great deal about your directorate. It's an outrage that it even exists. When I have the full picture, I'll publish.
You'll never get the full picture. Lister is dead, Mr. Seltzer.
It was a mistake. I love you, Jim.
I think I'd be mistaken about Lister. The notes from his file are incomplete, but I'm damn sure Brian Hoskins has a set. Tell him Lister was murdered. Contact Buff in Cornwall for a meet. Take care, James. This is not an academic exercise.
Next out is the surveyor, the man with the gold card carrying the pale blue with a black sash and a black and gold striped cap. Bovine number 6, Smutty Cavalier, written by Angus Magwar in Greek with a red stripe, please, Count.
I put you on the nose. It wasn't worth an each way bet.
Why's that?
Odds are too short. Bloody jockey's got a hangover. What do you reckon Strange up to, Jimmy?
Well, this is hardly the place to find out.
You have to take your fun when you find it.
What are you on?
O'Grady's nag. Lister was a good civil servant too. Briefcase, folded umbrella, the very model of a Whitehall man. If they'd left him with us, there wouldn't be this mess.
You watched Lister?
They took him away from us, gave him to Army Intelligence at Aldershot. Colonel Bloody Blimp. Tucker. Colonel Tucker. They lost him for 48 hours before he croaked himself. Go on, my son!
Number 2, photograph for second place.
It's all set. If it's a story, Mr. Hoskins, can I come with you?
It's no story. I'm cheating on my wife. You better come in here with me.
said Lister was murdered. Can you prove that?
Why did you leave the directorate?
I hated the place.
It seems everybody did. Lister was telling the truth, but nobody believed him, including you. He wanted you to leak the story. He must have given you something to leak. Have you brought it?
Is he?
You have no need to know.
What a deadly phrase that is. Lister's need to know killed him. I'm going inside. I prefer the company of publicans.
Did you see the evidence Cooper gave to the Inquirer?
I had no access to that kind of information. No need to know.
How did you get your present job?
Hatherley put me onto it.
So, you have your price, too.
What's yours, Mr. Strange?
Get this to Devonport.
Yes. Security had Lister under surveillance. Then he was given to Army Intelligence at Aldershot.
Barnaby Tucker. That's a break.
Apparently they lost him for the 48 hours before he died.
How is your Liz?
She wants to get married.
Good.
You're a sentimentalist, Frank.
Frank! Why in heaven's name did you give me a bit of notice?
Hello, Barnaby.
Can you stay for dinner?
Oh, I'd like
Oh,
that.
come around 8. Sorry, there's generals and what else waiting for me in there. See you later.
See you later.
Stand easy.
Hello?
Hello, Barnaby.
Frank. Bloody fuses. Not much of a welcome, I'm afraid. Barbara's taken to her bed. Can't afford living help. Wiring's a bloody mess. Eureka. Barbara fixed up the guest room before she was felled. You will stay. I don't believe it.
Sacked, Barnaby. I was sacked.
But nobody's sacked. Truth. Still get the monthly issue, you know. You look tired. I suppose we all are. There are too many incidents, Frank, and they're not all motivated by the same brand of politics. Life would be more simple if it were so. You don't mean you were sacked?
I was forced to resign. My position was compromised. By Lister. You know all about Lister.
I'm surprised he told you about that. Dangerfield took him from the London boys and gave him to us. No one, not even Hatherley, knew. Cheers.
Cheers. Dangerfield was investigating Lister.
Lister was a rotten little twerp.
Lister was on our side.
Oh, come on, Frank. We only had him for 5 weeks, but that was enough, believe me.
What exactly was he doing?
He had quite a nightlife. Lots of left-wing trade unionists, left-wing media people.
Seltzer?
Yes. Not that he's much danger anymore. He had long talks with that Fenton fellow. He was in contact with all sorts of suspect people.
Who killed him?
We never discovered who was running him, but it's reasonable assumption they knew he'd been blown, or he might simply have jumped.
And everybody breathes a sigh of relief.
Now look, Frank, this Lister business is finished.
You're not listening. Lister was onto something, but nobody would take any notice.
I've got to take Barbara some victuals. Help yourself to some more wine.
Hatherley has paid me the compliment of a 24-hour surveillance.
You were followed here.
They're sitting at the end of your drive right now.
You put me in a very awkward position.
I know.
Good night, Frank. I'd be obliged if you'd see yourself out.
I came here because I thought you were the one man who would at least listen.
Go away, Frank.
But you're just like the rest. Lister's mistake was to accuse a senior officer. That made him an impertinent little twerp and a writ to boot.
And what are we left with? A society on the threshold of chaos and anarchy, ruled by the bully boys and bombers? I consider it my job to protect that society. And for that, we need to know our enemies.
You sound like Hatherley.
You're an arrogant bastard, Frank.
My arrogance was to think the directorate a good thing because I was running it and answerable to neither king nor country.
That is the nature of good security.
I've been a fool. I walked right into it.
What?
I told Strange something he could only have learned from me. As soon as he turns up at Aldershot, they'll know it was me. Mug.
Do you still see Strange?
Did you succeed?
Only too well.
Show me. Is that coming from Southampton?
Yes.
I didn't know it was that easy.
It's not. You have to know what's in there. When I designed this section, this was the password, Daisy. The garden was full of them at the time. Of course, that should have been changed after I left, but of course nobody bothered. Well, what you're looking at is Fenton's file as an example. All his details are there. Radical, black, as a barrister, long history of defending what we might call the underprivileged. But also left-wing, potentially revolutionary groups, but always within the law, always constitutional. Important point in view of what happened to him, the charge of chamberty. That is not fixing his fees in order to charge more if he wins. There's no record of that. But what he did do was take no money or very little from those who couldn't afford him. So technically, he did not set a fee for his legal services. A bit like a GP in a criminal. So, Lister's discovery was this. Essentially the same set of facts, but arranged in such a way to imply something quite else. Now, if you, Frank Strange, requested information on that man, depending on which access retrieval code you were given, would depend your image of the man. So simplistically, there are two sets of files on record.
There are hundreds of names on the second hidden system, and all the files are distortions.
God heavens.
There's more, I'm afraid.
This is not Southampton, but it is routed through Southampton. This is coming from the Inland Revenue computer, and it, by law, should not be possible to access from Southampton. Those are the overseas earnings of a British company which are eligible for UK tax. Same thing, except the figure on the right is £3 million less than the one on the left. The one on the right is filed on the Inland Revenue computer as a taxable figure. The one on the left, the true figure, is stored somewhere in Southampton. It is a tax fraud of colossal proportions, and all runs from your directorate.
Anything else?
Well, there's more there, but I haven't enough information to decipher it.
I want you to go away for a while, Johnny. And don't wait until morning. That reporter Seltzer was murdered last night. He'd agreed to meet me. Are you going home tonight, James?
No, I'm staying at a village pub.
Well, I take my watchers with me, give them time to clear. Please, do as I say, Johnny. I'll make the final drop the day after tomorrow, James.
Miss Pele?
Yes?
My name is Meyer, Cornelius Meyer. Perhaps you have heard it?
Oh, yes, you work with James.
Please, Clarissa.
I don't want to take that.
I've told you we can't take those.
Passengers on this service will be disembarking and passing through customs within the next 10 minutes. Arrival flight UK 182, Guernsey and Jersey.
I want his name.
Let Sarah and the children get on the plane.
Do you care?
It's the only thing I do care about.
Yeah, over here. Who controls it?
Prager. Meyer was in on it too.
I shall want a signed statement.
Look, you let Sarah go. I love her. Oh, I didn't at first. It was just a way of fixing Lister. That was Prager's idea.
Who else?
Prager gave us the names of the firms he deals with. Then we, Cooper and me, extracted the data from the revenue computer and substituted figures given us by Prager. There was millions of pounds involved. He took 25% of the difference. Paid us buttons.
And the files?
What files?
On people like Fenton.
I know nothing about that. It was a tax fiddle. The revenue's fair game. Everyone fiddles them.
UK flight 681 to Paris is now.
I can't go on my own.
Passengers please proceed.
Not with the children.
What's this in aid of?
If you don't know, I do. To success.
What have you pulled off?
Not me. You. I'm giving up work. You really are very secretive, aren't you? Nature of your work, I suppose. Do you know who came to see me today?
Who?
The Dutchman. And another man. Bit embarrassing. They knew all about me. Our illicit coupling, as it were.
Meyer was here.
Vetting you, they said, for a very senior post. I had no idea your work was so important. Apparently, Mr. Strange's good opinion of you was crucial. I said you were keeping in touch with him.
I forgot to get cigarettes. I just nipped round to the off-license.
You scared the shit out of me, Frank Strange.
I'm almost sure. I need to be completely certain.
I was about asked to put out some information on a government leaked it around Fleet Street. It was a pack of lies, and it wasn't the only time. When I started, I wanted to be the next James Cameron. I really believed the public had the right to know the truth. They never get it. Not even on a rag like this.
Well, rag or not, you were bought with it.
Not completely. Lister sent me this with instructions to open it should anything happen to him. I never did, nor do I want to know what's in it. If I had any guts, I'd publish whatever you want.
I don't want you to publish anything.
No, you wouldn't. You're too much part of it.
past. These files show it all. Column A is a list of arms dealers. Column B is their potential customers. All colours of the political rainbow. And the marriage broker is Prager. He doesn't care which couples he puts together, so long as the fee is right.
You have to order Meyer to destroy all the alternative storage disks.
I'm not sacrificing this country's security to save your skin.
What about your own? If I go down, you come with me.
You've never fully grasped the difference in our positions. What happens to me is supremely unimportant. What is important is that the work that I've done continues, and for others to carry it on, they need the information that I've accumulated.
Fabricated.
Reinterpreted. You have no hope for, nor faith in the future of this country. You are the lowest form of vermin, a looter. I will preserve our way of life, which I hold very dear, and which I perceive to be under deep and constant threat.
Strange is a threat.
Strange is misguided.
You are a complacent bloody fool.
No, I simply believe that I'm right. Those who want to destroy my country, I will destroy by whatever means open to me. And the information this director controls is the most potent weapon I have. There are many who agree with me, not just in this country, but throughout Europe. Strange cannot really touch me.
Because you know I will have to do something about him. People like me suit you.
These are the access codes to Prager's other operations and to Hatherley's misinformation files. You won't understand them, Hoskins, but there are people who will. Should anything happen to me, please, I beg you, publish the contents of this tape. There must be no more secrets.
James, get this to Sir Gerald. They will never allow me to make the contact.
You're still on the M3.
How long have we got?
Assuming the destination is Whitehall, with traffic conditions, 1 hour, 20 minutes, variable. 40 minutes to the Hogarth roundabout.
You have 40 minutes to pick up. Then we'll call off Mitchell's men.
Frank?
Frank Strange was a remarkable man.
I wish he was here to see it break. He would have liked that.
He wouldn't have liked that at all. Nor would I. Certain reforms, safeguards will have to be introduced into the system, but discreetly. A few early retirements, a resignation or two.
And that's what Frank died for.
That's precisely what he died for.
Not in my view.
Frank bequeathed you his cottage, I believe. Go there for a time. Rest and think.